Hello, and welcome to my digital flaneurie experience in Los Angeles, California. As the second largest metropolitan area in the United States, with a population of more than 16 million, Los Angeles is the iconic city of West. The city of Los Angeles has always been in my memory with its images. I attribute this to its art and media industry, which gives the city its identity. So, I chose two routes for my digital flaneurie experience where we can clearly observe the iconic identity of LA, and on the other hand, its imperialism and capitalist industrialization. Sunset Boulevard is in the central and western part of the city that stretches from Pacific Coast Highway in Pacific Palisades east to Figueroa Street in downtown Los Angeles. It's a major thoroughfare in the Los Angeles County, cities of Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, as well as several districts in Los Angeles. My first route, Sunset Strip, is the 2.4 kilometers long section of the Sunset Boulevard between Downey Drive and North Crescent Heights Boulevard. The Chateau Marmont Hotel building attracts attention with its chateau reference design and its size in the Sunset Strip region, where consists mostly of low-rise buildings. Although the Sunset Strip region is such a famous area of such a big metropolis, it gives me the feeling that I'm walking in a small resort town. However, it's not very convenient for walking. It's much more like designed for a specific use of places. When we look at the dynamics of the city, we can observe that the city's identity is mostly derived from the art materials that it produces and sells worldwide. It has developed over the years by marketing those materials, and the city also became an attraction point and a tourism center. City of Los Angeles is known for its Mediterranean climate, Hollywood entertainment industry, its sprawling metropolis, and ethnic diversity. Getting a thumb on the pulse of such a vast and diverse urban area is a challenge. The rows of skyscrapers and 9-to-5 business serves as a reminder that there really is a city here after all. It is said that there is no LA, except as a title for the hundreds of cities and neighborhoods that have been lumped together by virtue of their location here on the Pacific Coast, many of which share a map square but not much more. As Harvey said, for the elite, living comfortably in their glided ghettos, the world must indeed seem a better place. I think we also mentioned the American dream issue here. This city is home to many successful or unsuccessful people who have come here to be an artist or, in other words, a star. So, in a matter of fact, it is the place where movie stars, musicians, big money, big traffic jams, and modern culture meet over Pacific Surf, Santa Monica mountain vistas. There is a wide road on Sunset Strip, and it has heavy traffic. As I mentioned, it cannot be said that it is designed for pedestrians. However, it is possible to see many crowds on the small sidewalks, especially at night. We can say that this situation occurred because of the shops, stores, restaurants, bars, and clubs. Unlike the Hollywood Boulevard, which is more designed for pedestrian walk, Sunset Strip is a region that works mostly on places. There are signs on many of the sidewalk edges, are defined in different ways for car parking. In some areas, you can only park your car for a short period to load passengers only. In some others, there are paid parking areas or there is no parking available. The signs, posters, banners, and billboards that I have seen were mostly about the products or media products that have shown their effect on all over the world and also reached many users or consumers. So, while walking around the Sunset Strip area, I never felt like a stranger. As I walk through the area, I can feel the capitalist industrialization pretty much. I thought that anyone who sees the billboards can give reactions such as, "Oh, that movie is great," or "Well, I know that TV series." In this way, I think we can develop a connection with this city. In a word, we can find a piece of ourselves in it. The Sunset Strip portion of Sunset Boulevard has been famous for its active nightlife since at least the 1950s. There are 3 big rock clubs which earned landmark status and known for the performances of many famous rock bands and musicians. I have read many stories about them, and they are exactly the places that impressed me the most at Sunset Strip. The Roxy, Rainbow, and Whiskey A Go Go all played significant roles in rock and roll history. They hosted a variety of musicians including The Doors, Led Zeppelin, Frank Zappa, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Guns N' Roses, and many more. Also, they have been the launching pad for countless bands. Thanks to the Hollywood's entertainment industry, the city of Los Angeles creates a considerable capital. As a result, the city tried to find a special equivalent of luxury consumption. However, according to Deontari, there is no special fix that can contain the contradictions of capitalism in the long run. The routes I chose are the visible faces of the city of Los Angeles. These two boulevards are places where the media industry of the city is embodied and also marketed as tourism centers. They are also the places where special equivalent of the capitalist dynamics of the city are sought. It is said that the difference between rich and poor is at extreme levels and it creates a great contrast in the city. So there can be found ruined and poor condition neighborhoods just a few streets behind Sunset and Hollywood boulevards. As we experience these boulevards as a digital flaneur, we will feel the glittering Hollywood atmosphere in these locations, or will this contrast in the city harm the connection we have with it, and we will realize the power of media products that have been marketed to us for years to turn an ordinary place into one of the world's favorite and attractive point. Hollywood Boulevard is a major popular street in Los Angeles. It begins in the west as a winding residential street at Sunset Plaza Drive in the Hollywood Hills West District. After crossing Laurel Canyon Boulevard, it proceeds to east as a major thoroughfare through Hollywood, Little Armenia, and Thaytown to Vermont Avenue. It then runs southeast to its eastern terminal at Sunset Boulevard. Parts of the boulevard are popular tourist destinations, primarily the 15 blocks between La Brea Avenue east to Gower Street, where the Hollywood Walk of Fame is primarily located. It can be said that the Hollywood Boulevard reflects the Hollywood theme of the city, and the city's media industry is most felt in here. It's a kind of an embodiment of the huge media industry which influences all over the world. The city tour buses on the sidewalks and the tour guides in front of them are just like the tour boats in holiday towns. The atmosphere of the city is like a metropolis on the seaside. Roadside vendors opened up city sightseeing tour buses that took their places on the street. They remind us that we are at a tourist destination. On the boulevard, there are movie theaters, gift shops, cafes, ice cream shops, and museums such as Wax, World Records, and Selfie. It reminds us once again that the boulevard is designed as a tourist attraction and a consumption center for tourists. The Madame Tussauds Museum takes the Walk of Fame's embodiment of the Hollywood stars tribute a step further and contributes to the tourism of the region by exhibiting their lifelike wax sculpture replicas. TCL Chinese Theater is one of the iconic and memorable sites in Los Angeles. It has been home to many premieres and 3 Academy Awards. This part of the boulevard is close to traffic for the premiere of the movie Ford vs. Ferrari. So, the employees are installing the red carpet. The cars we see in the movie are exhibited on the carpet, and the people in the area, many of whom I think are tourists, show great interest in this situation. Nearly 200 Hollywood celebrities' handprints, footprints, and autograph in the concrete of the theater's forecourt. The barriers on the sidewalks seem to be put to prevent people from entering the red carpet installing. However, they define the walking path. It tells us to walk here and do not walk here. As I said at first, I would prefer Hollywood Boulevard to be an area that allows more pedestrian flow. Next to the theater, there is one of the most popular hard rock cafes. The Hollywood Walk of Fame comprises more than 2,600 stars embedded in the sidewalks along 15 blocks of Hollywood Boulevard and 3 blocks of Vine Street. The stars are permanent public monuments bearing the names of musicians, actors, directors, producers, fictional characters, and others. Every year, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce selects around 24 celebrities to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. If the application gets accepted, the individual's nominator needs to pay around $30,000 to install and maintain the star. While walking on Hollywood Boulevard, it is possible to see many colorful people such as street musicians, cosplayers, clowns, and people wearing costumes of famous movie characters. This is quite naturally welcomed by the people around. It is nice that people express themselves freely in this way and do not see any bad reaction from the environment. It is interesting to me that the Walk of Fame was designed as a walking path. If such a public tribute were to be made in Eastern culture, it would most likely be on a wall or in the form of a monument instead of sidewalks that people walked on. Babylon Courtyard is located on the side of the boulevard next to the Dolby Theater. It's a fully pedestrianized area. It's in the form of an open passage or shopping center and designed based on the ancient Babylon set from D.W. Griffith's 1916 epic Intolerance. Although we see a monumental non-human scale design, I can say that the courtyard is almost a cute little common area. I felt like a relief point that we reached by entering from the crowded boulevard. When we go back to the boulevard, we see El Capitan Theater owned by Walt Disney Company. The boulevard can be closed to traffic for some events. I thought that it would be better if it was a complete walkable Walk of Fame area which is designed to serve pedestrians more than the vehicles. Although the palm trees on the sidewalks feel like a separation the pedestrian flow from the road, by keeping the sidewalks wider and the vehicle road narrower, it could become a more suitable place to experience on foot. The fire hydrants which I saw on the sidewalks reminded me of my referee friend Kevin, who I met when I was working as an international referee guide in the Turkish Volleyball Federation. I hope he's good now. Kevin lives in Los Angeles and his full-time job was driver in Los Angeles Fire Department. He once told me that homeless people across Los Angeles illegally use the fire hydrants as a source of water to bathe and they leave the hydrants damaged and often useless to firefighters. Another important thing I noticed when walking on the stars is that both pedestrians and vehicles pay attention to the traffic rules. At the same time, it is noteworthy that the people around have very relaxed and quiet behaviors even though it's a metropolis. Of course, it should be taken into consideration that this is a touristic area of the city. These two routes I chose were the faces of Hollywood. I thought that Sunset and Hollywood Boulevards are the best places to observe the iconic Los Angeles and Hollywood theme based on its media industry. Walking in these routes allows us to experience the city's theme and its active dynamics. I have seen the city of Los Angeles and its two famous boulevards in various media products for years. Inevitably, I somehow felt a connection with this city. I created the atmosphere of this city in my mind even though I have not been there before. So it was my imagination that's supported by media, and it's pretty hard to see a bad side in it with this way. I think it's the power of art, the art that gives the city its identity and makes the city what it is today. As we move towards the end of the boulevard, we feel a rapid transition from Hollywood theme to harsh realities. As we have just seen city tour buses, tourists taking photos, colorful costumes, and a premiere preparation on the red carpet, we now see people on the sidewalks who I think are homeless or immigrants, and even a person holding a banner that says he wants money from people to buy drugs. These remind us the dark side of the city's glittering look. According to Harvey, cities begin to use cultural production as a way to market their city as being unique and special. Of course, the problem with that is that much of culture is very easy to replicate. The uniqueness begins to disappear. Then we have what I call the Disneyification of society. In addition to being grateful to the art that it produced, I think it has assimilated the world in order to exist. And it succeeded. The city of Los Angeles today has many success stories, a huge media industry, world-class celebrities, but on the other hand, lots of frustration and disappearing people in the capitalist order. If you could exist in this city and somehow you had a place in this capitalist order, it promises you a lot. But if your dreams are falling apart, it seems quite possible to be a part of Californication and look on sparkling lives in the shiny metropolis of Los Angeles.